Hello and welcome back. We are here for the fourth match and we have won the die roll. We will choose our Pokemon. Alright, this is a very interesting one-lander. It has an early Delver, it has a cantrip, it has a force to get tempo. These are hands that I'm actually generally inclined to keep. I think this hand can be very good against a lot of opponents. The opt makes it pretty likely that we will hit our second land, or at least we have 3 looks. And even if we don't, we still have Force of Negation and Lightning Bolt as castable spells. Vesuva leads me to believe we are up against Titan. I guess we'll put a stop here. There's like a small chance we might want to like opt something to the bottom. That is not something we would want to opt to the bottom. We'll go ahead and shock here. Opt now. Don't want that. Second Delver we will take. Yeah, I don't really know of many other decks that would lead on Vesuva besides Amulet. Breeding Pool. Our suspicions are confirmed. Stomp. Never mind. Our suspicions are not confirmed. I have no clue what we were up against, but that will be enough to earn a Force of Negation from me. It seems like these Delvers might be very, very strong in this game, especially if they flip on our next thing. And Snapcaster Opt, is something that could be good here for sure. I don't want to discount the efficacy of that play, but okay, Archmage's Charm, sweet. So our Delver's flip and our opponent is on a very quick clock. Unfortunately, we don't have that third land, but I'm still happy with my play to Force of Negation. I do want a little more information about what our opponent is playing. Still unclear to me. Dryad. Definitely one of the more scary cards our opponent could have here. Making me certainly hope we draw a land one time. Ooh. Okay, well, we could be in some trouble, but we will hedge our bets next turn. Assuming they're not able to just kill us in one swoop with a Primeval Titan, we can bolt them end of turn, and then if we draw... Okay, another Stomp. We're going to go ahead and force that for sure. And that probably is game. If they did have the Titan there, and they were able to get Valakuts to remove our Insectile Aberrations, we would bolt them end of turn, and then, yeah, we would have drawn a land, fetch, shock, Kolaghan's Command to do the last 2 damage. So we would have ended up being able to get there, even if they had Primeval Titan there, which is, I don't know, I guess not relevant because they didn't have Primeval Titan, but definitely important to see those lines as outs. Some people might just be, oh, Primeval Titan, game's over. But, we had a little bit of reach there between Bolt and Kolaghan's Command. So, post-board, not too much that we're that interested in. Generally, I think our game plan lines up reasonably well against these types of decks, which is basically just land an early threat and tempo them out. Spellsnare I normally wouldn't want, but we saw 2 Stomps, so I'm a little bit more interested in it for sure. Force of Negation doesn't seem great. Snapcaster Mage doesn't seem great. Unearth doesn't seem great. Although, again, if they have Stomp, it's a better for sure. It's a little unclear what our opponent's playing. It seems like some type of Titan deck, but it also seems like a more mid-range version of it. So that's something we'll have to consider. Because I'm not really certain how to board. Seal of Fire, I think, is a pretty clear cut. So far, that card has not impressed me this league, but maybe we just haven't hit the right matchups. I'm sure it'd be pretty sweet against Burn or something like that. I just think it's a lot better in the burn deck where they're just sending a ton of burn at your face. In our deck, card advantage is effectively as good as Seal of Fire, and we have so many cantrips that it's pretty likely we find the baubles. All right, let's go ahead and just go cut Seal of Fire and Force of Negation for Thoughtseize, and we need one more card. Actually, let's just keep the Force of Negation. If we're in a meta, if the meta shakes out and there still ends up being a lot of Titan decks, then something you'll definitely want to revisit is, number of Aether Gusts, because I am certainly not prepared for the Titan decks. I'll be the first to admit. Naturally, it's a pretty good matchup, but I could make it, close to unlosable if I were to play cards like Aether Gust in my sideboard. So, pretty clear Lightning Bolt on the ramp creature here. And we're going to hold back the Bauble because it triggers Sprite Dragon. Amulet. Okay, so this is an Amulet deck. Very interesting. Double Amulet. Well, the fact that we're now dead to Bounce Land plus Titan makes me less excited to play Sprite Dragon. I think I'm going to slow things down a little bit and try to counter their spells. So we'll bauble them here. Maybe even give them the idea that we are looking for a counter spell. Really primarily just hoping to draw lands, honestly, so that we can continue to, develop our board while holding up counter magic. Bojuka Bog is okay. Strongly considering a end of turn Snapcaster Mage here. I think actually I'm going to go ahead and do that. Getting some type of clock down while you hold up permission is pretty important, and I don't really see Snapcaster Mage coming in super handy anytime soon. That was a good draw. I guess now we have to decide between if we want to play Delver of Secrets or Serum Visions. I'm going to go Serum Visions. Force of Negation is a hard one to evaluate, so let's go ahead and go top. And what that will allow us to do is next turn we can opt into it if we want it, or we can opt it to the bottom if we don't. Summoner's Pact. Cannot counter it and cannot cycle it into it. Hopefully we don't get too punished here. Smart from our opponent. Little clever play there. Get the Stomping Ground tapped. We'll let them make 2 mana. And cast a Primeval Titan. Unfortunately for them, it's right into Mana Leak. And that means that we are safe to deploy a threat next turn because they're going to have to tap out for their pact, which means it's going to be very hard for them to... Perfect. All right, so we're just going to go... We're going to Sprite Dragon, opt. We're going to bottom the Force of Negation, looking for a land. Watery Grave is reasonable. We'll play Delver of Secrets. And just apply max pressure here, basically. Trying to take away the opportunities our opponent may have for another Primeval Titan to be played. It's possible bottoming Force Negation was a little bit greedy in case they have another Pact. But just the fact that they had the first means there's probably only 3 left. And I think that finding a land there is pretty important as well, just to really get our board developed. Transmute Teleria West for another Summoner's Pact. So it seems we may be getting a little bit punished, but it depends. If this Delver transforms here, then we are in great shape. If this is a brick, then we are in not so great shape. It is a brick. So if we were to get in for 5 here, all right, let's start by cycling an Unearth. Fetch, cycle. Counterspell would be ideal. Bobble's fine. Lets us get a lot of triggers with Sprite Dragon. We'll target ourselves. We know what their play is going to be next turn, so it probably doesn't matter too much. If we draw exactly I guess the question is how many. All right, I think we are gonna bobble ourselves here. It actually probably was incorrect just because they can cast Summoner's Pact in there. Okay, wait, so let's see here. All right, yeah, we do need to attack here. Our opponent's at 6. Let's see if they let us draw Force Negation for the punish. Oh, so close. Okay. Well, we'll see what they can do here. We are F6'd. My guess is they can do a lot with double Amulet of Vigor, but I welcome them to prove me wrong and not just completely crush me here. Can they just double strike their Titan here and hit me for a lot of damage? Does seem like that's what's happening. Alright, that's a game. Alright. Well, we should have kept the Force Negation, I guess. Punished there a little bit. But we have one more game. Alright. Any changes we are interested in making? A very interesting Titan list from our opponent, for sure. It's possible I'm interested in Fatal Pushover on Earth for their early ramp spells. Unearth is just good against Bone Crusher Giant, though, so I'm going to keep it. Looking for a nice aggressive hand backed up by some counter magic. This is just what the doctor ordered. I do wish I could cast my discard spell on turn 2. A Radiant Fountain opening from our opponent. Do they have the Amulet? They do. Okay, that's spooky. Just not spooky, scary. Spooky and scary, I guess. Opt, perfect. Okay. Alright, let's just get down as fast of a clock as possible. Well, we probably should have... I think that was a mistake. Now we really do need to draw a land, because if they have a bounce land here, they're going to be able to play one of their 3-mana ramp spells, and that means Titan is coming down the turn after. So we put ourselves in a little bit of a position where probably we didn't have to put us there. Hopefully, maybe, I'm not sure which I'm hoping it is, honestly. Okay. So next turn, if we draw a land, we're going to pass with the land up. But if we don't, okay, we're going to pass with the land up then. That was a good draw. It means we have some protection from a Titan, and if they do nothing, we can opt. Hopefully our opponent does not have multiple Titans. Okay, Summoner's Pact good for us, because they're not going to be able to play a Titan with Cavern of Souls this turn. We know that for sure. Which means, yeah, this is what they're going for, and we're going to be able to counter it, and then we're going to be able to put a ton of counters on our Sprite Dragon next turn and hit them for a lot. And then hopefully that is enough, because they will have to pay for their Pact. Pact, you know, sometimes Titan's best friend or their worst enemy. In this case, definitely not their friend, as it's going to cost them basically a complete turn. We'll start with opt. Bottom push. If we run a removal spell off this opt, that'd be great. Okay, we're gonna Inquisition them here. The reason being, if they happen to have, okay, so they have access to, they can pay 4 for Pact. And then if they were to have a bounce land, they actually could play another Titan. So we just want to make sure that if they have a Pact, that's not what they're going to be doing. And they do. Okay, so taking this Pact here, pretty huge. I'm trying to think if they have any live draws. Valakut. If they draw Valakut, that would not be great. The reason being, Valakut would be online and they can play a fetch land as well, which is 2 triggers to kill Sprite Dragon. I think Valakut's their best draw here. Other than that, I think we should be in the clear. All right, we got it.